Hello and welcome back to my channel, Divine Libra Wisdom. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are returning, also thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking around. I want to first say, if you came from the weekly reading videos for Libra, Cancer, and Taurus, then you'll know that I am doing this on the same night, but I wanted to get this out, this pick-up pile out, because it had been on my mind for a couple of days here. I was thinking about, what is the theme, or what do we usually go through as it pertains to Virgo season. And what came to mind is our daily routines, our habits, that sort of thing. And so it made me come up with the title for this video, which is, what needs to change in your daily routine. So I wanted to look at what it is that the collective needs to kind of look at, to see what kind of things that they could change, tweak a little, pay more attention to detail on as it pertains to their daily routines. So yeah, that's what we're going to look at. Let me get all the admin, housekeeping, whatever you want to call it, things out of the way. Okay, so first and foremost, subscribe to the channel, right? Subscribe to the channel. It lets you know when I, drop new videos. I'm going to start posting more in the community tab of my page or channel, just so, you can kind of stay up to date. Definitely go check out my different socials. I need to make some changes to it, or updates, I think. No, I'm thinking more about my main page, so disregard that part. But definitely, yeah, go check out the other platforms that I'm on, because I post different things as it comes to me. Sometimes I may get a download here or there, and I may post it, just write it out and post it on Threads, or make a little short quick video, just to kind of give you some inspiration, some motivation, over on TikTok, whatever the case may be. So definitely check me out on different platforms that I'm on, and follow me on these other platforms as well. Okay. Like the videos, guys. It costs nothing to like the video. It pushes me out on the algorithm out there to reach more people who enjoy tarot and oracle card readings. And hopefully I want to inspire, I want to help in any way that I can. And this is my contribution way of doing that. What else? As you're listening along, leave comments down in the comment section. You don't have, if you want to share, how the video, the reading is resonating, as long as you feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to go into great detail. But if you feel comfortable sharing, by all means, let me know, because that gives me even more confirmation, and just lets me know that I am, touching someone, I am helping someone in some way, shape, or form. If you don't feel like doing all that, you can just leave an emoji. I love the cute emojis, the little cats, the dogs, things of that nature, flowers, whatever, just as long as it's cute and, respectful. I enjoy that. What else? Share out the video. If you know people who enjoy tarot, oracle card readings, definitely share it out to them, so that they can get to know me and I can get to know them, because I want to build a community over here. And lastly, all information, decks that I'm using, all that jazz. If you like the way that I read, that will be in the description box below. And you can figure out how to get in, send me an email, and we can go from there as far as booking and getting your reading to you. And I typically have a very quick turnaround. I don't try to, depending on how many people I have to read for, I try to have a quick turnaround on that. Anyway, if you hear some grumbles or some snoring in the background, my cousin's dog is in the background. He's hanging out in here with me in my room. And so yeah, I will, again, like I do with any other noise, try to wait till the loudness passes, or just kind of speak over it. Okay. And sorry for the sniffles. You already know, sometimes for whatever reason my nose likes to get, kind of stuffy, and I have to do a little sniffling here and there. So I know it can be kind of annoying, but if it is, hopefully I don't do it too much, because I have my water here, so I should be good. So yeah, with all that being said, and I got it all out the way, we're gonna get started. Okay, so you should have picked your pile, but if you feel drawn to more than one, go with that. If you feel only drawn to one, go with that. Just go with what you're feeling, your intuition is telling you. You don't have to make it fit. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Just like the cats. If it if it fit, I sits, or whatever, however you say it. But in this case, don't make anything fit that doesn't fit. Okay. So yeah, by now you should have picked your pile. And it'll, give you a little, time to make your decision. Hopefully, and even me yapping throughout this intro, it should have given you, a little bit of time as well. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and move these piles out of the way. We're gonna start with number one, or pile number one. Also, and I forgot to mention this, but if you have trouble with picking with objects on the cards, or going by like pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, 4, whatever. Another way that I do it is I go by the numbers, the timestamps. Actually, I'll go by the timestamps. Sometimes I'll put like little emojis by the what do you call it? The timestamps in the description box. Sometimes that'll help, and you can just go look on the video, because it should timestamp it for me. And so just go by what you think, go by what you feel. Several ways that you can, intuit and kind of see what you're drawn to. Okay, so how to pick a pile. You can pick by the timestamp or number, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4. You can pick by the object or the crystal, all things, or you can just randomly pick. Sometimes I've done that as well. If I couldn't really decide, by anything, I would just go with my gut. I would just pick something, and just see where things land. Okay, so now that all that is out of the way for real, we're gonna get started with pile number one. Okay, all right, and this is the Lapis Lazuli, one of my favorite stones, crystals, however you want to say it. So with the Lapis Lazuli, and actually let me just sit it there, put it right there. with the Lapis Lazuli, this is all about tapping into your intuition, um, spiritual health. And when I mention spiritual health, I mean, you know, cleansing your surroundings, cleansing yourself, making sure that you are in, you know, the highest of spirits, because this is all about also like wisdom and, you know, your connection with the divine, tapping into your own downloads that you receive from spirit, because we all do. We all receive, you know, our what do you call it? We all can receive messages, right, from spirit. We can all, you know, have that, whatever that little thing that's kind of itching at you, or you know, making you, you know, question something or think about something, you know, whatever. Think about the things that randomly pop into your mind, you know what I mean, that type of thing. So this is all about tapping into that connection, strengthening that connection. So if you've been, say for instance, you've been kind of off of your spiritual journey, right, this is a way to kind of up that, you know, get back into the swing of things, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and spread these cards out and just kind of see what is going on. Okay. Okay. Wow. This Three of Pentacles card has been coming out a lot. Oh my goodness. I have to cover it up a little. Okay. And it looks like you can't really see it on camera, so yeah. Okay, we're gonna do it like that. Let me see if I can kind of get, okay. Okay. Yeah, this Three of Pentacles came out a lot, so I don't know. I can't even remember. I mean, I know it came out a lot in those weekly readings, but I'm not gonna try to remember which readings it came out in specifically. You would have to go and check it out and see which ones, because I really can't remember, and I'm kind of, you know, going on E. But I am up. I'm wide awake. It's just kind of, I can feel myself winding down. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay. First card out for the tarot is the Chariot, right? The Chariot here. And automatically I think about travel. Specifically, especially with the Lapis Lazuli, and, you know, talking about spiritual health, spirituality, in the form of a trip, that would make me think of like some kind of retreat. Maybe in your daily routines, you maybe should implement taking a trip every few months, even if it's like a short distance, a staycation, any type of time or any type of vacation that allows you, whether, no matter how long or how short, it allows you to take a break. It allows you to reevaluate certain things and kind of get yourself back center, if that makes sense. And so that's what I get from the Chariot. I just get that you need some time to rest and relax. Some of you could be, maybe you hadn't had a vacation in such a long time. That could also be the case. Maybe it's one of those things where it's like long overdue. Like you need some time, basically. Also getting um, like a visit to a city of some sort. I don't know. Whenever I look at this card, it kind of reminds me of like Chicago or like New York City. This particular chariot card, and you know, and that can be sort of like the complete opposite of you know, relaxation, especially places like Chicago, New York, and New York City. However, you can find little inner, like, I don't know if anybody, if this happens to anyone else, but I have not been to Chicago yet, but it's on my travel bucket list. And I've not, or but I have been to New York City, and I found that I can relax a little bit, or I can get kind of lost in chaos, if that makes sense. Um, because in a way, no one is really paying attention to me, and so I can kind of fade in with the crowd. And so that's a sense of what I'm getting. Like, you can find like little areas, little pockets of New York City to kind of escape to, and on your own, or even if you're with friends, or a significant other, you can excuse me, you can kind of find yourself, find a little space to get away, to relax, to even if it's just you. Like, I wouldn't recommend this, but you know staying in your hotel. Like, I'm seeing someone being in the city, looking out at the on the balcony, if you have one in your hotel room or Airbnb or whatever, and you're on the balcony and you're just looking out at the at the landscape of the city, and just taking it all in, and just it's just like this overwhelming sense of peace just washes over you, right? That's what I get. um but of course, you go out and you um sightsee, you do all the things, especially when you're in New York City. I don't know too much about Chicago just yet, but I plan to. So I don't know, and maybe those two places could be significant for you. Maybe those are places that you plan to go. I don't know. But yeah. So the other things that come with the chariot is achieving goals. It speaks to you, like your willpower, your determination, like setting goals, achieving goals, um, you know, just kind of being in transit, if that makes sense. But this sort of, whenever I see the chariot, it does. I feel like it more so speaks to like shorter distance travel to me, just in my opinion. Um, you can kind of interpret it the way that you like, but I just see it more so as sorry, having a 1 second. Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to, I see it more so, especially with this person and the figure being on like the bike or whatever. I see someone who could be like on a motorcycle, going across country, or maybe not going too far from where they live. I'm also getting the sense of someone being in an RV as well, or like a van, van life. That is still, seems like it's still pretty popular. I noticed, at least I've seen, and I don't know, it could be just my algorithm on my main channel here on YouTube, but I see a lot of van life people, RV life people, people sort of giving up their houses to go live, in an RV, a van, because things have gotten so expensive, right? And so, they're kind of like, Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and downsize, especially, if you don't have kids, or, you just have a pet, or maybe if you're empty nesters, you're older and you kind of want to retire. Um, you're looking for more adventure and things of that nature. And so, like, yeah, with the chariot, I'm also, I also get that word adventure as well. But this is, definitely about, you know, patience and discipline. I feel, victory, you know, and this person, like, if you really look at the card, they're very, very focused, as well as those sort of, um, I forget what the name of these things are. Um, but yeah, you know what I mean. They're very focused. It's like they're focused intent. Um, they're very keen on their target and what they're trying to accomplish. So yeah, all those things is what I get. Then we have the Three of Pentacles, and so with the Three of Pentacles, this is all about, collaborating. This is all about coming together. This is about, creative projects. Sort of, excuse me. Um, and with it, with it following the Chariot, I feel like this could be a way for you to change in your daily habits or your daily routine. Making time for creativity, making time, to connect with friends who you haven't talked to in a long time. Maybe you've been going so much, going and going and going, that you haven't had a chance to really just let your hair down and, have fun with friends, connect with friends, go out with friends. Maybe you've been kind of in hermit mode, and, you know, you want to do your big one, or you want to have a night that's like a movie, as they say. you know, you're long over. Like, I'm just getting a sense of this pile here needing to make time for play, needing to make time for their inner child, to tap into that and, make themselves happy, to, to do things that they haven't been able to do in a long, long time. And I feel like, with the Chariot there, you're going to get that chance. Like, you're going to get the opportunity to focus on, things that focus more on things that make you happy instead of the things that you must do. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you've already sort of taken care of those things, and so now it's kind of like, okay, I need to focus on the things that make me happy. Okay, so I am going to show the Three of Pentacles, but I just don't want to show. I want to make sure that I'm not showing that, because this lady is naked over here where my thumb is. I mean, not my thumb, where my pointer finger is. Okay, but in this card is, depicting, and the card is sort of depicting someone having their likeness drawn, and they're completely and totally stripped of their clothing. They've literally become like the muse, or the subject of the art. And so this also, to me, as it's depicted in the Three of Pentacles, or the card or whatever, is, being totally stripped, totally. It kind of reminds me of Christina Aguilera, her album. I think it was actually titled "Stripped" or something like that. So that may be significant. Maybe that was an album that you really enjoyed. Maybe you really like Christina Aguilera. I know I did growing up. I really enjoyed her music. And I may go, because that was one of my favorite albums by her, and I may go check that out, because it was really, really, really good. But yeah, I just really get the sense of people needing to really tap into their inner child, and let that inner child come out and play. If it's, especially with like creation and creativity, like, do your coloring, which I've been doing. I just got a new coloring book, and I got a set of coloring pencils, and I've been coloring here and there, and I have been enjoying it. Also being creative by making these videos. I enjoy putting them together, you know, figuring out what decks I'm going to use, seeing what calls out to me, what it is that I want to focus on or talk about. So in whichever way, shape, or form that you know shows up for you, um, I definitely think that you should implement this into your daily routine so that it becomes second nature. Like, okay, I need to make time to, you know, rest. I need to make time to take a trip. You know, whether it doesn't matter if it's a short distance or a long distance. You know, I need to make time for my creativity. You know, if you have poems that you were working on and that you just kind of left unfinished, finish that, and implement writing into your daily routine. Artwork, because literally drawing is a focal point of, you know, this, the main point rather, of this Three of Pentacles card. Work on your drawing, you know, if you want to become an animator or illustrator, I'm sorry. Yeah, because drawing is more like illustration. If you want to become an illustrator, you know, focus on that. You know, if you need to take courses, online courses, I'm pretty sure there are some free online courses or YouTube tutorials that you can check out that can help you do things as well as with your writing. So yeah, I feel like that's the main energy of this pile that I'm picking up on. Okay, but we're gonna get to the oracle messages and see what we have here. Okay, so we have sacred sensuality. It says your body is a temple, your sensuality is sacred. Really love those colors. To me, this just, again, I feel like so much in this pile. It seems like there's been a lot of deprivation or depravity. How can I say the word depravity? This pile has been depriving themselves of pleasure, of happiness, of joy. And there's a need to stop being so rigid, stop being so you know, like a stickler for everything, and allow yourself to let your hair down, allow yourself to just be. That's what I get from that. And you know, as far as sensuality, you know, it doesn't even mean that you have to be getting with someone. You can be sensual all by yourself, right? So whatever you need to do to get yourself, you know, there, do your thing. But if, you know, there is in fact you know, a significant other or someone that you know, like to hang out with, if you know what I mean, then go do that. You know, do what makes you happy and what feels good. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. Then we have Bridget, and this is Don't Back Down. And it says stand up for what you believe is right. Yeah, allow that fiery, passionate side of yourself to come out and play. You know, don't back down. I'm feeling like this is more so, don't continue to be so hard-shelled or so in your mind, like to the point where you can't allow yourself to just relax. Because I'm really literally getting the image in my mind of somebody like finally, you know, I can kind of let my hair down. I can relax a little bit, you know what I mean? So that's what I feel like you should implement in your daily routine, you know, upping your time for sensuality, no matter if it's solo or with a partner. Not backing down from what it is that you want, that you need, that you're passionate about, rediscovering your passions, like really just tapping more into the things that you've been missing out on. Yeah. Okay. Then we have what is this? Embarking on an adventure, and I mentioned adventure earlier, especially with the chariot there. And it says, I savor the wonders of the world, and this has like different little places on here that represent different wonders of the world. So like different places that are, you know, well known, like it looks like I see Big Ben down here, and that's, you know, in London, Paris, the Eiffel Tower, a pyramid, that would be Egypt. I'm not really sure. I never am really too sure what this little thing is. Put it in the camera so you can kind of see. But I'm never really sure what that is. But then in the back here, I can't remember. There's a name for this type of art or structure or architecture in Asian culture. I can't remember what it is, but you know, so that could be, you know, traveling to parts of Asia, if that's been on, like, whichever region, area of the world that's been on your bucket list. It's time to start, you know, getting those passport stamps. It's time to keep, you know, it's time to, you know, get going to the places that you want to go to, because, you know, there's nothing really stopping you but time, you know, and things that you feel like you're obligated to, which I'm not saying that you should not take care of your business, that you should let things fall by the wayside. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I feel like when you take care of all of your business, right? And my grandmother used to say this all the time, but take care of all your business, but make sure you do one thing, even if it's one thing. At least just do one thing nice for yourself. That means getting yourself a sweet treat, or taking yourself on a solo date, or going out on a, you know, regular date, going out with friends, you know, buying yourself a new book, buying yourself a new set of artwork, or, you know, things to create art with, or sewing, or, you know, just whatever, you know, however it applies to you. You know, you do something nice for yourself each time you get paid. Do something nice for yourself, or several things across the week. You know, for yourself, because I really get the sense of just being deprived, like touch deprived when it comes to sensuality, deprived from, you know, going out and exploring different cultures in the form of traveling. Creativity has been blocked, perhaps, you know, especially with the dump back down card. It leads me to the throat chakra card here, and this is all about speaking your truth. This is all about not being afraid to be heard, even if it does rub people the wrong way, you know. But in that instance, it's a way to speak to people. You know, you can be direct. You don't have to be, you know, a bee about it. You know, just, you know, be direct, firm, and, you know, polite, and just say the thing, and don't be afraid to do it. You know. So, with that being said, pile number 1, that was your reading. I really hope that this resonated. If it did, again, leave me a comment down in the comment section and let me know how it resonated. If you feel comfortable doing so. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, totally understand. You can leave a cute emoji down in the comment section, just to let me know that you know, you chose this pile and it resonated and you enjoyed it. And matter of fact, maybe I'll just give you an emoji to put down in the comment section, right? So let's see, how about, let's see, what do we have here? Pile number 1, put the dancing girl emoji down in the comment section for pile number 1. Because it just gives me a sense of, like, celebration that you all need to have, whether it's, you know, just celebrating your wins that you've accomplished so far, whether it's, you know, telling yourself, I'm gonna go out and dance to have some fun, I'm gonna go, you know, go travel, go do whatever. So the dancing emoji is just kind of letting me know that that's what you're doing. Okay, so with that being said, that's the end of your reading, pile number 1, and we're gonna go to pile number 2. Okay. Okay. Alright, we'll just sit that there. Okay. Alright, pile number 2. Alright. So we have the Hematite for pile number 2. Alright, I'm going to sit that there so we can see it. Okay, so pile number 2, Hematite. This is all about grinding. You could be grinding, I don't know. This is all about grounding yourself, protection work. So upping your protection around yourself, around your family, balancing, and regulating your moods, your emotions, you know, just kind of coming back to center, similar to what pile number 1 said. So you may have been drawn to pile number 1. But this is all about like your spiritual, you know, healthiness. And I think I mentioned spiritual healthiness in pile number 1 too. But you know, if you need to ask for help, not being afraid to ask for it. You know, so get to delegating. You know, give yourself a break and a chance to accept, or be open rather, to accepting help from others, even if it feels strange to do so. I know that feeling all too well, but definitely don't be afraid to help or ask for help. Okay, so I'm gonna pull these cards out here and just see what we're working with here. Okay. And I'm just kind of looking over these cards here. Excuse me. Ooh, I am getting sleepy. Oh, goodness. And some of you, when I was doing a reading, funny enough, I can remember which reading this came out of, but for Taurus, it seemed like they were very like exhausted and tired and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe what some of you are doing. You could be yawning right now as you're watching this if you pick, you know, this excuse me, pile number 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've been looking kind of over these cards and just kind of seeing what I see. Okay, so right off the bat, pile number 2, you all have the Knight of Wands. Okay, and so with the Knight of Wands, this is all about like adventure, action, you know, going after your dreams without a second thought. But there needs to be a method to your madness, right? There needs to be some balance. And I think that with what you should probably implement into your daily routine, pile number 2, is impulse control. Not being so quick to make decisions. Give yourself a chance to think things through before you make a move. You know, don't go by just feelings alone. Go by your intuition. Go by, you know, not only what it makes you feel, but the potential outcome of your action, or of your action, because every action has a reaction, right? Like something is going to happen as a result to whatever action that you take, or lack thereof. But in this case, you are someone who can, get up, take action without, without no hesitation. You're like, okay, bet, I know what I'm gonna do, blah blah blah, But this is also about, giving yourself a chance to really fine tune everything, make sure everything is top notch, top tier, P's and Q's, dotted line, everything is in motion, and is clear, that you understand, the, outcomes or even risk of making such a move. But that's not to say, it's not a good thing to, make, be able to kind of think quickly on your feet, especially if you are in like some sort of a bind, or if you're in some sort of a, time crunch. It's good to be able to think on your feet and move accordingly, but when you have a chance to slow down, think about things, that gives you an advantage, because you've had time to really anticipate certain outcomes, and you can make informed decisions going forward. You know what I mean? So, followed by that is the Hierophant. And so, like with the Hierophant, this is all about discipline, especially self-discipline, having, again, that impulse control. I also get the sense of like studying, researching. Maybe you need to research some things before you make some certain moves that could be implemented into your daily routine. Like you research things before you embark on them, or you know what I mean. Like before you do something, you as opposed to in the past where you would have just been like, you see something that catches your eye, you're like, F it, I'm in it, I'm in there. No hesitation whatsoever. You trust everything, you trust yourself, and you're just like, I'm gonna do, what it is I need to do, and go on about my business. So, furthermore, with, the Hierophant, this is all about tradition and convention. This is all about your spiritual wisdom, like I mentioned before. This is all about, being a teacher, being someone who, has knowledge, has discipline. Again, I keep saying that word, discipline. Someone people can kind of look to you to lead the charge. People can look towards you to, provide guidance on some things. So you may be I'm hearing the word consultant. So maybe some of you are very knowledgeable in whatever field that you're in, and this could be, a nudge for you to implement, trying to reach out to potential clients, maybe 2 to 3, 2 to 4, however, whatever you're comfortable with. Reach out to them and say, hey, I can offer my services for however much fee that you charge, and go from there. You can have another stream of income that can help you with your goals. So you're being asked to sort of implement that into your daily routine. Making sure practice your sales pitch, your elevator pitch, practice cold calling, or reaching out to people, especially colleagues whom you may have worked with in the past, or even now. Figuring out a way to get yourself out there. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to the oracle portion down here. There we go. And I know I kind of like the things to be balanced. Of course, I'm such a Libra with that, the aesthetics of it all. Anyway, all right. So the first oracle card we have out is we are the rainbow bridges. We bridge spirit to matter and heaven to earth. This seems very like balance coded, like I said, duality, togetherness, You know, again, I feel like the pile number twos, your impulsivity may have caused imbalance, and so now spirit is sort of asking you to implement, you know, having discipline, having, you know, pausing, knowing when to pause for a minute, especially if you have the chance or the time to make an informed decision by, you know, pausing and really pondering on the things that you need to do as opposed to just acting without thinking. Okay. So then we have Mother Mary, and this is expect a miracle. And it says, "Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered." Yeah, you know, have faith. Have faith in yourself. You know, trust that you're making the right decision, even, you know, if, say, for instance, you did have to make a fast and hasty decision. You know, trust that you will land on your feet and land where you're supposed to land. Okay. Then we have breaking barriers. And this is, "I am expanding beyond limitations into joy and freedom." Yeah. Like, you know, no bounds, especially with the Hierophant. Like, you know, you come from that Knight of Wands energy where you were impulsive, where you were quick, you know, to anger maybe. Because I'm getting really, whenever I see the Knight of Wands, it makes me think of obviously fire sign, but Aries specifically. Aries are known to be very like hot-headed and very, you know, sometimes impulsive. But that could be the same. That could be said about all three fire signs, right? Or all, you know what I mean. It could be the same. Could be said for all of them. But I feel like Aries seems to get that reputation more of being hot-headed and, you know, ready to pop off without any remorse, anything without thinking. You know, and this could especially translate over into decision making. You know, deciding, you know, very prematurely, and, you know, making false steps, if that makes sense. But this also represents, you know, breaking barriers. Like you're tearing walls down. You are making space for yourself, especially, you know, you could even be, I mentioned like being a consultant. That stood out really, really hard. Or really, really loud. Not really, really hard, but very, very loud for me. And so I feel like with the breaking barriers, you could be like doing something that nobody ever expected for you to do. Especially if this is like maybe changing course on something. Maybe you were doing something before, like you were more focused on this one thing, but now you're completely shifted, you're completely transformed. And so you're breaking all those barriers that tried to hold you back, and you're more focused, you're more disciplined, like I said again. Okay. And so lastly we have simply love. The way that I read this card, and I'm interpreting it, especially as much as I've said, is that, you know, it's okay to be passionate about something and love something, but, you know, you can't you can't try to control it, because when you try to control it, you know, you create sort of like a doormat or something. There's no life in it, you know what I mean? There is just, they just exist. And so when it comes to this, I think you just need to have love, you know, for your situation, love for yourself, you know, trust in yourself, believe in yourself, you know, and don't the major thing that I'm picking up on is just hone in on that impulsivity. You know what I mean? Don't be so hasty with the decision making. You know, make sure that you are giving yourself ample amount of time to really sit, process, and you know, assess every little detail, and then you move accordingly if you can. Because I know in life, you know, sometimes we may have to make hard, rash decisions, because that's the best we can do at the moment. So, you know, do that, but just be mindful. Just try to be mindful always, okay? And have love for yourself. Yeah, because I mean, even though there's a kid, but, you know, on here, I feel like this is more so having love for yourself, and this could even, you know, be like a depiction of their inner child. You know what I mean? Because they kind of look alike. They literally have the same face. So this could be, you know, their kid, or this could be them as their younger version, and this speaks more to inner child, and that's where I'm kind of getting, I'm really getting, this is and that's a 6 too. Let me see something, because I think the 6th house deals with inner child, and it's a Virgo house too. So 6th house. Yeah, and the 6th house is your daily routines, your habits, and organization. Yeah, exactly. And this is 6. It has a 6 on here. Simply love, inner child. So yeah, yeah. This is all about like your daily routine, like exactly. So just take heed to what I said, pal number 2. Okay. So that's all that I'm getting for this one, pal number 2. I hope that it resonated with you. And you come back when I drop new videos. All right. So if this is where I leave you, see you next time. Bye, pal number 2. All right. Lordy Lord. All right. Pal number 3. We're starting with you. Or we're starting with you. We're starting now on pal number 3. All right, pal number 3. All right, you have the selenite. And I put this wrong. This is not quartz crystal. This is selenite. So, like with selenite, it always just makes me think it does kind of mimic crystal quartz or whatever. And it's all about like it's still about like the purity, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Anyway, sorry, I had a distraction. But anyway, yeah, selenite is all about like, you know, purity, purification, your crown chakra, you know, divine wisdom. It's cleansing in a way, and it's funny because a lot of all these the stones that I had before, the Lapis Lazuli, the Hematite, it's all about like your spirituality, and you know, the healthiness of that. You know, tapping into your intuition, you know, just it's all about cleansing like negative energy around you. So for me, I get that maybe some of you have been sort of in a funk, and there's a need to sort of cleanse your space. So get you some, you know, whatever your preference of incense is, or if you prefer to do sage or the I forget, Palo Santo. You know, preferably Palo Santo, given what's going on with the sage, especially I think it's the white sage. Yeah, you know, definitely be mindful of that as well. But yeah, selenite, I'm getting, yeah, just, sorry, so many, whenever I get quiet like that, like so many things are popping into my mind a mile a minute. Okay, that's pile number 3. You all could be in your daily routine, because I'm hearing like negative self-talk and against yourself. So take your, if you have some selenite, right? If you don't, that's totally fine. You can use quartz crystal or any crystal that you have that you feel comfortable using. Get in front of the mirror and say some affirmations to yourself. Okay? Because I get the sense of someone down on themselves unintentionally, or maybe even intentionally, but for the most part, it's unintentional. And you need to stop that. You need to stop that, because you're creating the negativity that's, that could be around you. It's essentially like you're bringing it on yourself. Okay? So just be mindful, be careful with the negative self-talk, because the negative self-talk can set you back. All right, so let's look at these cards. I'll pull these out, and sorry for that. Ooh. I can barely keep my eyes open here. I am definitely getting tired. I can tell. Okay. Let's look at what these cards say here. Whew. Okay. So first things first, the first card out is Two of Cups. Whenever I see cups, it makes me think of like, something to be celebrated. Kind of like, I believe it was pile 2. Yeah, you may need to sort of go out and have some fun. Sort of getting, adding that to your daily routine. Making time for friends. Okay, like, yeah, oh goodness, this collective is very deprived. Yeah, there is a need to connect with friends, because friends can get you out of trouble. They can get you out of trouble and keep you out of trouble. Especially if you have like a mama bear or a daddy bear or something like that within the group, and they don't play that, like they don't play about you. Yeah, but there's a need to sort of reconnect with friends, because you may have, and I know life be lifing, but you may have sort of allowed your relationships, be they platonic or romantic, to kind of fall by the wayside. And there's a need to, especially in your daily routines, maybe you need to, instill some confidence in yourself, but do it for others as well. You could do this. I'm seeing someone like being in an apartment building, and using like little sticky notes or something like that to put positive messages on the walls, and just to make someone's day. But I also get the sense of do pile number threes, like doing that for yourself, you know, making sure that you, you know, of all people, are supporting yourself, are speaking life into yourself. You know, you're doing your affirmations. You are treating yourself right, treating your body right, doing all the things. And so that's what I get from the Two of Cups, and which you should probably be implementing into your daily routine. So again, this is, you know, all about balance, because you have the two, so duality, balance, scales, that type of thing. And it's even like the two cup, even though this is cups, one is slightly higher than the other, and it makes me like think of the scales, and sort of like weighing options, weighing, you know, ideals, getting with friends, collaborating with friends, that type of thing. There may be a need for you to do that at some point. All right, so then we have 6 of Swords, and to me, I just get that there could be, now if this is a totally different scenario that I'm hearing and seeing, if you need to get away from a certain relationship or cut off ties with a certain friend, then go ahead and do that. Especially if it's causing you stress and it's something that happens where you need to leave abruptly, definitely go ahead and cut those people off. You know, if they are not treating you correctly, if they're not serving you, you know, it's just not working out, go ahead and let them go. Cut it off, you know. I just, you know, in the 6 of Swords, whenever I see it, it kind of makes me think of more so, as opposed to like the Chariot, this one makes me more so think this is sort of long distance, because they're like in a major like open body of water, and granted, in that boat you wouldn't be able to get very far. So yeah, I would definitely okay, we're gonna move on. So yeah, 6 of Swords is, it's definitely about like your transformation, your transition. Sort of like having that mental clarity, you know, and you okay. I'm just now getting pile number 3. You all could do well with getting some meditation in. Maybe you can implement that into your daily routine, because this will help you balance and keep yourself balanced, your chakras. Yeah. There's a need to meditate. There's a need to meditate, because I'm feeling a little fidgety with this pile number 3 reading. Excuse me. And yeah, there needs to be some balancing going on, some healing. Shadow work could be significant. And sadness could be significant as well, because it's like, even though she was like looking ahead, or a person, I don't want to say assume, but this person who's sitting down, they're looking ahead. Some could kind of look at this and maybe think they're scared or upset, you know. But I get the sense more so that you're going like a long distance travel of some sort. Okay, so that was it for the tarot portion. Now we're gonna go to the oracle card. Okay, so we have Divine Reflections. It says our triggers are our teachers. We are all mirrors for each other. Yeah. I really feel like that self-explanatory is just, you know, the way that I see it is with your with your selenite. Okay, just, you know, you're a divine reflection of the divine, right? So, you know, this is time to make one of those decisions where you stay, or, you know, especially if it's like some kind of, you know, weird or relationship or situation is making you unhappy, and you have to like get up and go, and leave it behind, then yeah, definitely do that. But you're a human representation of what divine is. You know, we are acting out or living out a divine experience for the divine. So the major word here for pile number 3s is reflection, more specifically divine reflections, like focusing on, and you could even ask this question to spirit or universe, whatever you believe in, and say, hey, you know, what are ways that I can implement changes to my daily routine? You know, is there something that I can do more of? Is there something that, you know, would help me in the long run? Yeah. So you're being called to sort of like reflect on things, and maybe if you are the type that sort of just lets things brush off your shoulders, nothing really gets a rise out of you. Yeah, time to reflect a little bit. Then we have abundantia, and this is prosperity. And it says the universe is pouring its abundance out to you. Be open to receiving. So yeah, this is, yeah, instead of like focusing on the negative, yeah, sorry, I wish y'all can kind of see how it looks, and I may at some point show my face on this side of YouTube, but things just downloads just be coming in so quickly that it's hard to catch up sometimes. But with this card, you could be, whew, man, oh man. There's a need to focus on your finances, right? So if you're overspending, if you're overdoing, focus on where is that coming from. Pay more attention to the details. Check your statements, you know, your bank statements, your if you have those auto renew subscription things, check on that too. Like, just be a little bit more concerned, number 3s, with how you're spending your money, how you're spending your time, things that can make you currency, or that's currently making you currency or prosperity. There needs to be more focus, more attention paid to the details when it comes to this right here. Okay, then you have accepting what is, and this says I accept and embrace my inner majesty. Accepting what is, like, just being okay. If you're not okay, then being okay with not being okay in the moment. If you're good, being happy that you are in that spot, in that place to be happy, or to, you know, just accept things as they are, you know. But if you want to see change, then you can definitely do that, because you have the card here, rebuild, right? You can be like rebuilding or repairing something from scratch. And so in that context, for your daily routine, pile number threes, figure out ways to rebuild this up, because again, I'm really getting like strongly details, or yeah, eyes need to be on your finances. You need to be figuring out what's going on here if you know things are kind of not on the up and up. But rebuild. This is all about bringing back a structure in your life. This is all about finding a balance, finding, you know, the clarity, giving your clarity, because there's a lot going on, but clarity is a big thing for pile number threes. They really need to focus on balancing their chakras, and I mean every single last one of the chakras, like all of them are a little off. So yeah, definitely you have to focus more on that balance and you know, making sure things are straight up. Okay, so hopefully I didn't ramble too much and what I said was coherent, because I am very, very sleepy. But I want to get this out because I really felt strongly about the daily routine type thing, and what that would look like for each file or each collect, or you know what I mean, for the collective. So even, you know, with picking or even with picking piles, even if they picked all four, or maybe just the two, you know. Okay, so with all that being said, like the video, share the video out, leave a comment down in the comment section below. You know, let me know how this resonated, and if it did, you know, and you don't feel comfortable sharing what exactly about the video resonated, then leave an emoji. And I think I forgot to even tell pal number 2 to share or put an emoji down there, so I'll throw it in the description box, right? But for pal number 3, put in the description box like Z's, or like kind of like sleeping. Put that there. I don't know, I just want to see that. I like the little Z's. And did y'all ever, like, growing up, for some reason I'm hearing the word counting sheep, or the words counting sheep, and I just wonder if anybody else grew up like that when they were really tired. You know, your parents or grandparents or whoever you were raised by. I was raised by my grandparents, but they told you to count the sheep, or, you know, catch some Z's. Count the sheep, catch some Z's. That rhymes. Okay. Anyway, that was all pal number 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do all the things, and I will see you next time, if this is where I leave you. Okay, and then we're going to go to pal number 4. Whew. Okay. And last but certainly not least, we have pile number 4. That is Tiger's Eye. Right off the bat, this pile seems a little fiery too. Just going by that and I keep wanting to say Jasper, but this is Tiger's Eye. So I don't know, maybe Jasper, the stone, is significant, or maybe you may know someone with the name Jasper. And I think in there a place, a city or something named Jasper. I don't know. But anyway, whatever the case, those things can be significant. Okay. But with Tiger's Eye, this is all about your self-confidence, your self-worth, finding courage, you know, manifesting things and trusting yourself, trusting your gut, knowing things are right for you, you know, right away. You know, there's no assumption, there's no none of that. You are perfectly fine with, you know, taking the lead and going for what you want. Okay, so we are going to check these cards out right here and see what we got going on. I'm sorry for the sniffles. Okay. Okay, pile number 4. You have Temperance coming out and as the first tarot card, and to me this is all about not perseverance, but that could be significance as it popped out. But discipline, Temperance reminds me of like having discipline, discernment. That's the word I was looking for. And so maybe pile number 4 is your how to change your daily routine is by implementing more discernment, more discipline. You know, maybe you've been kind of sort of wilding out here, and there needs to be some, you know, restoration, some balance, some you know, there needs to be some balance, some balance. All right, so okay. Sometimes I just kind of like to look up stuff just to kind of confirm what I know already. But either way, it's always going to fit with the spread, and what's out here is going to align perfectly most of the time. But yeah, like with Temperance, this is all about like just moderation, patience, you know, just kind of seeing reality. Like don't get fooled or easily swayed by rose-colored glasses. You know, take those things off and, you know, balance things out. Sunflowers could be significant, rainbows could be significant, as you can see with the card here. Two of Swords, again, like with the Two of Swords, I always think of someone who thinks that they're stuck, but they're not. If they would just, you know, put the swords down for a minute, then they can take the blindfold off and they can get up and they can go, you know. But I think sometimes people make things harder than what they have to be. And this is sort of one of those situations when it comes to Two of Swords. Is somebody who's so freaking like caught up in what's going wrong, or caught up in, you know, sort of shielding themselves, that they forget that, you know, if they would, you know, take off their blindfold, or first actually take the like put the swords down first, you know, just sit them down. Nobody's going to take them from you. Sit them down, do what you have to do with, you know, the blindfold situation, and then go for it, you know. But you know, this can also be someone having like anxiety around this, like making a decision. You kind of feel anxious about it, but this is something like giving you a chance to sort of, you know, think about things, have introspection, just kind of like weighing your options, like figuring things out. Even though that's more so the reverse side of things, but I don't really do reverses like that. I just tap into the reverse energy, you know, because I think it can go with the upright meaning, you know, and definitions and stuff. But yeah, I get the sense pile number 4 is you know, maybe in the past you know, were sort of chosen to be sort of like blind to certain things, like, you know, or just like deciding to ignore certain things, and it's to the point where it's like, no, you know, take just, you know, if you think long enough and more rationally, more logically, put the swords down, take your blindfold off, and then you can see what's ahead of you. You can see what you need to do. So that's what I get from the pile number, or 2 of swords, is that um, pile number 4 is probably should be getting better at knowing when to surrender, knowing when to lay stuff down and allow someone else to take over. Or if that can't happen, then you know, especially when it comes to like making a decision, yeah, that's when you may need to call in backup or assistance. But for the most part, you know, definitely focus on choices and your you know, indecision, because that can turn the indecisiveness can sort of turn or rub people the wrong way. Okay. All right. So I rambled enough about the tarot portion, and so now we're going to get into the oracle stuff. Okay. So well, lo and behold, we have temperance out here, and I'm talking about discernment and you know, figuring it out, and especially like when there's, you know, a difficult choice to make. Sometimes when there's the decision is difficult, we refuse to focus on it. We try to put it off to the side all the time. But this is calling for you to have discernment, right? Okay. And so this says, we are learning to discern the truth from the lies. Again, taking off like taking off that blindfold, taking off rose-colored glasses, not just taking things for face value, you know. Okay, then we have white Terra, sensitivity, and it says you are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. And this is very, very self-explanatory. To implement into your daily routine, implement that discernment. Implement your, you know, paying attention to what, you know, how you're feeling, like checking in. It's like a mental check-in or a solo or, you know, self check-in, and just seeing where you are. You know, if you need support, go ahead and ask for it. Don't be afraid to do that. And yeah, so next we have being in the flow, and it says I am in the flow of the universe. That's what this is. And this kind of just makes me think of the 2 cards together, temperance and this card here. Go with the flow. You know, don't read too much into anything. You know, still pay attention, but implement the need to just, you know, center yourself, relax, and then make your decision. And then, you know, you can continue to move accordingly, but you still need to give yourself that discernment, and, you know, to figure out what's going on with yourself. You know, implement that into your daily routine. It's, you know, as far as like, you know, being in the flow, just chilling, you know, trying to have a calm, you know, demeanor, you know, not even allowing anything to get you out of character, out of balance. Just whenever you feel that nagging thing, because to me it feels like a nagging when I can feel or see something trying to come in to cause me harm, anxiety, annoyance, whatever the case. Yeah, you know, I'm focusing on not necessarily getting all rah-rah and hyped up because I'm annoyed or I'm, you know, offended. It's just like addressing it like, oh, okay, I see you, or I see it, whatever. Let me not allow it to get so under my skin that I'm, you know, I'm ready to pop off. That's what that is. Pile number 4 is being in the flow and implementing that into your daily routine. Okay, so then we have, lastly, just breathe. And with just breathe, it's sort similar to being in the flow and temperance. You know, do your breath work. Like, do whenever you feel yourself getting anxious, right? You know, tap into your breath work. Do your breath work. Figure that out. You know, give yourself a chance to calm yourself down. Because I'm gonna say it's one, you know, being so uptight, or you know, kind of like anxious, and you know, all they need to do is just kind of breathe. Do your breath work. Like I said, just breathe through it. You know, when you get nervous, especially if you, maybe say for instance you have to speak in front of a crowd or something, or you put on the spotlight, or I'm not putting on the spotlight, put on the spot, and it's just like, okay, take however many breaths you need to take, whether it be like 5 to 10, to just regulate your system, to kind of ease it down, ease the anxiety level on down, and just come back to your center, you know, and just, that's what that is. So, daily routine, simply put, do breath work. Just breathe, do breath work. It will help you tremendously. Pile number 4. All right, so that's what I'm getting for you, pile number 4s. Again, going back, because I heard self-confidence kind of in my mind again, and I want pile number 4s to really be about their self-confidence, trusting themselves, and not being afraid to, if you know, if you are put on the spot, live it out, you know, live it up, be your, you know, if you need to be your most diabolical, then be your most diabolical. But you know, it don't have to be all that serious, you know, on that tip. Just, you know, really, really, truly focus on yourself and trust yourself. Those are the 2 main things, right? And balance is key here, and not, especially with that 2 of Swords, like, don't put things on yourself that are not, you know, accurate or not true. Okay, and that was just the last little bit that came through. So that's all, pile number 4. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down in the comment section and let me figure out what I want for, I don't even remember the emojis that I left, that I asked for. 1, 2, I don't even think I did 1, 4, 2, but, or 3 or 4, I can't remember. But, oh wait, no I do, I remember. Number 1 was the dancing girl. I don't think I had one for number 2. I thought I was just gonna, matter of fact, let me go ahead and just write this down so I don't forget. Emoji. Let's see. I didn't mention this in pile number 2, but we're gonna go ahead and say crap. I cannot remember what I said for 3. I can't remember. Oh no. Anyway, pile number 2. I'm gonna say cat emoji. And I'll just put it in the comments, because I'm for sure, I for sure didn't mention it in the video. And number 3, for the life of me, I cannot remember what I put for what emoji. Did I say flower? I still don't. Oh, wait. Shoot. It almost came back. or pile number 3. What was it? I can always go back and look. But anyway, and pile number 4. Pile number 4, let's say put pizza emoji. Yeah. Put a pizza emoji in the comment section for your pile so that I know that you were, you know, entertained, that you were, you know, it resonated with you, and hopefully that it inspired you, especially pile number 4s, because I really want you all to focus on your self-confidence, seriously. Yeah, so with that being said, I'm wrapping up this video. Check back for new readings. They will be back, especially the picker piles. I will be doing an all signs reading. It'll either be an all signs reading or collective reading, but I think I want to do both. But it definitely won't be tonight because I am super tired. So, bye. Have a good night, y'all.